What up? What's up? How's everyone's doing? I hope everyone's is wazzing. I am. Um, it's Higurashi. Yeah. Um, Yesterday I took notes. I caught up on my note taking for Higurashi when they cry. um, and I think I lost my mind a little bit. But I've kind of come up with a theory. It doesn't explain everything. It doesn't explain a lot of things, but it could explain some things. Also, apologies if you can hear like rumbling in the background. Someone's like, I don't know, doing gardening stuff. I don't know, that's making noise. Hopefully it's not too bad. Hi Peggy, hello, hello. Good to see ya. Yeah, so I came up with a theory while I was taking notes. It's I don't know. So where Keiichi buried the body, there was an like old irrigation channel nearby. And then when the cops were like digging, they like went like dug into a pipe connected to that. What if the body See, I don't know how. What if the body like went into the irrigation channel? Listen, for this, I was like researching irrigation. And then also because there was a body found at the start of the chapter of the episode, whatever. What if it was like a drain pipe? Hey, Shadex, what's up? I'm talking about my irrigation channel theory. But like, what if that body that we found at the start was like also, I mean, that was a drain pipe connected to a river, but like, I don't know. And then also I was looking, let's check. Ooh, yes. On shrimp. I'm like going mad scientist mode, hunched over. Did those bodies have Waz tattoos as well? I mean, I don't know. We can neither confirm nor deny. Hydrate, I shall. I was just about to take a sip of my tea. Oh, hold on. I gotta let the kitty cat out. He demands freedom. Yeah, and so I was looking over. I looked over literally all of my notes. And there was a mention of a child, like the damn protest people. At some point, they apparently kidnapped a child, and they were found like in the mountains, like from like a river. Like, what if everything's connected to like to, like irrigation channels and yeah. So I don't know how the body would have even gotten in there. But I don't know, I feel like it's been pointed out a few times. It's like you can kind of just pass it off of, oh, it's just like describing the setting, but like, what if? But what if? So yeah, so last time when we left off, we had fallen, we'd been pushed by Satoko off of the bridge into a stream. Oh my god, I'm streaming. Oh my god. Keiichi about to show up in the stream? Crazy. And yeah. It's insane. This game is insane. I spent hours yesterday taking notes and my brain was hurting. But I wouldn't take notes if I didn't want to. It's fun. So yeah, the implications of Keiichi potentially surviving this fall is could kind of be huge, because to me, I think of Satoko's parents who were pushed to their deaths. I don't know if it was in the same place or a different place. I thought this was a baseball game. Oh. Yeah, no. What this game does is for like the first like 9 chapters, it's like a, a slice of life game, but it's a murder mystery. It's a mystery. We killed someone's abusive uncle, and then at the festival, which we didn't go to because we were killing this uncle, our friends saw us there, but we weren't there. And so now it's like, what the fuck? And people are dying, and oh nope, that's not. I loaded the wrong thing. Here. Yeah, it's yes, right, the implications. If Satoko's parents, so the father was found dead, but the mother was, her body was never found. So what if she survived? I'm just saying. I thought we were still talking about eating desserts. Yes, everyone's favorite dessert. Baseball bat smashed uncle. I could tell it was my bones that were in pain from the agony I felt whenever I moved. I looked up and saw how high the bridge from which I had fallen was. Considering I'd dropped from there, it was a miracle that I could open my eyes again. Right next to me was a broken upside-down car seat, which I guess some pranksters had brought here. Maybe this thing had been conveniently lying right under me, allowing me to escape instant death. Miraculous. Of course, I didn't know whether this miracle was fortunate or unfortunate. Upside-down car seat? I'd failed to die and now I was still stuck in this insane world. How long had I been unconscious for? The sun was high in the sky, so it looked like only 1 or 2 hours had passed. Yeah, it was still morning when we were with Satoko. Oh yeah, we found Rika dead. What the fuck? There's so much. But my body's sluggishness didn't make it feel at all like so short a time had gone by. Mentally, it felt like I'd been asleep here for a decade. Ow. The more feeling returned to my body, the more pain flooded in. It hurt so much, it would have been better not to have woken up. I needed to get to a doctor. Yeah, to Coach's clinic. Coach is dead! The term Coach's clinic brought memories back one after another, memories I wish I hadn't recalled. Satoko was no longer on the bridge. She would have returned to Hinamizawa by now, and she would put on some clothes, go to the clinic, get a checkup, and report on how crazy I had seemed. The police, I could change the sprites back, because hopefully we don't have to look at the uncomfortable towel-covered Satoko anymore. The police were waiting for me without a doubt. This time, would they find out for real that I'd killed her uncle and arrest me, or would they just send me to a mental institution like I thought they might? Still, I didn't care which it was. Please, someone stop all this pain. You can boil me or cook me after that, whatever you want. I began to walk unsteadily, just limping along. Sorry, I'm getting comfy. I'm like, you know when dogs like walk around in circles and then they plonk down? That's me. I began to walk unsteadily, just limping along. I went downstream, and then through an animal trail-like path in the woods. I walked haphazardly, searching for a path I knew. Okay, Keiichi, be careful that you don't run into, like, Satoko's, like, death trap, what do you call them? Obstacle course, yeah. Eventually, I finally came across a familiar road and set off towards the clinic. How is he alive? Not to my house, but to the clinic, which had treated me like a lunatic. It was hot and humid. There was no wind, and the air was stagnant. For a while now, I'd been smelling the terrible stench of burned eggs, and it made my face scrunch up. Burned eggs? And then at last I noticed something. I couldn't hear any cicadas. It was the first time I'd heard Hinamizawa be so utterly silent. When I thought back, it seemed like birds always chirped in the morning, cicadas always cried loudly in the afternoon, and Higurashi always rose up in chorus in the evening, always something to hear. I couldn't hear a single insect. The only thing I could hear was the rustling of the wind brushing the treetops. I'd never experienced this sort of quiet before. Even the only sound coming from the trees lacked life somehow. The trees were yellow, and many leaves were spread on the ground, despite it being too early for autumn. Even the weeds that had been growing so persistently at the side of the road had yellowed, browned, and lost their vigor. Keiichi, have you, like, been unconscious for, like, a whole season? What the fuck? Only the sunlight itself was of the June Hinamizawa I knew. And yet it seemed like the seasons had switched all of a sudden. Looking at the fallen leaves and rotting weeds led me to spot a few small insects turned on their backs. They weren't moving. They were corpses. I looked closer to see insect corpses scattered all around, like a child had collected them as samples and then strewn them about. Keiichi, are you in hell? This stench. What was it? It was terrible, like burned eggs. Oh my god, the volcanoes erupted. Combined with all the bug corpses and leaves falling from the trees in summer. Had someone sprayed herbicides or pesticides around here? Even at school, we apparently fumigate. They call it pest disinfection or something, once or twice a year. I hadn't run into anybody, despite how bright it was outside. It was mid-afternoon, and yet it felt like I were sauntering about at midnight. Well, with this smell, nobody would want to be walking around outside. Just what was this anyway? There was no sound, no noise, not even a breath. Hinamizawa was silent. The school would come into view, right after turning this corner, and yet I couldn't hear any commotion at all. None of the shouts or grunts that children always made. It was simply quiet. Just as pretending to ignore the silence had grown intolerable, I saw the school. And finally I heard something. It was the sound of a few trucks. There are a few very tall trucks parked in the schoolyard, idling. About 10 workers in raincoats were unloading things from their trunks. What the fuck is going on? It was hot and humid even in my casual clothing. I couldn't imagine how unbearable that must have been. And then I remembered. Our school was rented from the Forest Service Field Office Building. Oh my god. Forest Service Field Office Building. Forest Service Field Office Building. Okay, wasn't it? It wasn't strange at all for Forest Service trucks to be doing some kind of work in the schoolyard. Besides, what did forest rangers do anyway? I felt bad for them having to work in such heat, and with such a stench about. They were taking colourful cargo out of the truck and lining it up in the schoolyard. They were containers, fairly large ones, inside multicoloured patchwork bags. Heavy too, they were being carried in pairs. They lined them up very neatly, like a tuna at a riverside fish market. They're not like taking out like bags with bodies in them, right? Several, dozens, hundreds of tuna were completely filling the fairly wide schoolyard up. I forgot my pain for a little while, captivated by this big forest ranger job I'd never seen before. As I stood there watching a daze, the people in raincoats working on the other side noticed me. One of them pointed me out and they shouted a few things back and forth. I thought they might yell at me for getting in their way, so I decided to leave post-haste. But then 2 trucks drove up behind me. 2 trucks, having sex. I stepped aside and they entered the schoolyard. Sheets covered their trunks, but I could tell they were completely full. As they passed there was an awful smell that made me want to choke. Has everyone died? There was a thing about, like Rika being like the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama, and like if the village loses Oyashiro-sama's protection, then like, you know, maybe everyone will return to like the days of when demons would like hunt humans and eat them and stuff. It wasn't the same burned egg smell as before, but an even worse one, like rotten crab meat. What on earth was it? I'd been enshrouded in one terrible stench after another all day. Then, certain white letters emblazoned on the side of the passing trucks caught my eye. Ground Self-Defense Forces. What? Self-defense forces? Like the army? Why was the army in the schoolyard? Hey you, where did you come from? Suddenly someone slapped me on the shoulders from behind. I turned around and a canopied SDF jeep was parked there. The SDF person had on a green raincoat and a gas mask like in the movies, carrying a compressed air cylinder. Has everyone like breathed in like toxic gas and fucking died? It didn't look normal. There wasn't an inch of exposed skin anywhere. Where did I- ow. When I tried to walk, when I tried to talk, I stretched a wound on my head. It made the SDF people exchange glances. I couldn't see their faces through their masks, but they seemed surprised. Do you live in Hinamizawa? Can you tell us your name and address? Well, yeah, I sort of live here. My name is Keiichi Maebara. Oh, and my address, Hinamizawa Village, Shishibone. After seeing me tell them my name and address without hesitation, one of the SDF people watching from the jeep started talking into a radio. I think the bug exterminators are just taking it up a notch. Yeah. Well, you know, the Higurashi, they just cry so much, you know? Sometimes you gotta be tough love. Base, do you read? Base, do you read? We have a 402 survivor survivor discovered. I repeat, we have a 402. We found a survivor. He's in front of the Forest Service office. What the fuck? This is base, we copy. Secure the survivor at once. What is his status? Healthy. Wounded all over but not fatally. He can walk on his own. We'll send him to HQ for safety. I was prepared to go along with the police, but the SDF? I couldn't help but think it seemed a little bit much. They urged me into the back of the jeep, and then they told me to put on this gigantic gas mask. And I did so, and one of the troops fiddled around with it, strapping it tightly to me. It was heavy, hard to see out of, hot, and difficult to breathe. Just looking at the world through the lenses made it lose its sense of reality. Yeah, looks like they didn't just stop at exterminating bugs. Maybe we're all... maybe the whole game we are all just little Higurashi. in our little society. My breathing sounded like some giant monster through the mask. At this point, I had no idea what was happening. With much trepidation, I asked the trooper adjusting my mask. Excuse me, has something happened? Plot twist. Where were you? What were you doing? You don't answer a question with more questions. I was the one asking you. I fell from a rope bridge way back in the mountains. I think I passed out on the riverbed. I don't actually know what day it is. Today is June 22nd, 1983. Wednesday. I thought it was the 23rd. Let me look at my trusty dusty notes. I took a lot of notes. Probably too many. Okay, there was a inquiry request on June 20th. What other dates are there? June 18 was abuse issues regarding Satoko. Okay, maybe it is the 20th. What in the fuck? Wednesday. That surprised me. Satoko pushed me off the bridge on Tuesday the 21st. Okay, thank you for explaining. That meant I'd been asleep on that riverbed for an entire day. Forgive me for asking again, but did something happen? Why is the SDF here? Is this a drill? Had my question been that difficult for him? None of the troopers would answer me. Huh? Has something gone wrong, or...? Okay, let's see. The one in the driver's seat talking on his own radio turned on the vehicles. Why is it the... Okay. I don't know. He turned the dial and some broadcast station or another came in. I started to listen to the voice of a radio announcer I was familiar with. was conducted at the Prime Minister's office. In regards to the questions from the press that the SDF not responding to the disaster promptly was directly related to this unprecedented, unheard-of catastrophe, Chief Cabinet Secretary Okuno had this to say. And so, I believe that once the SDF received the dispatch order from the prefectural governor, they responded promptly. According to him, the SDF was prompt to respond to the crisis after receiving their orders. He implied that it was the prefecture's responsibility for taking too long to comprehend the situation. When did the governor, who requested the SDF's dispatch, actually become aware of the outbreak of such an unprecedented catastrophe? And did he not invite further damage because of the time lost before he sent the request for disaster relief? In other words, because of the bureaucracy? That's how you say it, right? We are awaiting further investigation into the matter. Just like on a radio broadcast, this guy just like, am I saying that right? That was Mr. Okada, reporting from the Prime Minister's official residence. At this point, we can take another look at the political response following this disaster. In the middle of the night between June 21st and June 22nd, a large-scale disaster broke out in Hinamizawa village, Shishibone. The details have not yet been... Are you kidding me? The details have not yet been investigated, but there was an eruption of volcanic gas from somewhere in the Hinamizawa area. I was joking because of what Rena said. What the fuck? And why has this not happened other times? The gas was relatively heavy and as it spewed out, it began to flow. That flow went down along a small river and headed directly into Hinamizawa village. After a few hours, it had covered the entire region. It happened in the middle of the night, 2 to 4 a.m. Every home and household in the village was afflicted. With most of the residents asleep, it is thought that all died without noticing the crisis. The catastrophe striking in the middle of the night caused its detection to come too late. But there was still one small opportunity to have noticed it. 3 a.m. A news dealer's shop in Okinomiya sent a vehicle carrying the morning newspaper to its branch office in Hinamizawa. Usually the shop would be contacted upon the vehicle's arrival, but this morning that didn't happen. The news dealer's shop made repeated calls but got no response. The shopkeeper sent his eldest son to check on things, but they lost contact with him as well. It is extremely regrettable. If they had contacted the police or fire department at this point, it is highly possible that the situation would have turned out more positively. At the very least, it's possible that a portion of the village might have been saved from tragic annihilation. 6 a.m. Residents in areas in the same region began continuously calling 119 to report the smell of rotten eggs, dizziness, nausea, and headaches. The fire department received the same reports, all from the same confined region. They speculated a truck loaded with chemicals may have gotten into an accident and reported it to the local police. 6:30 a.m. Contact was lost with a patrol car on duty in the Hinamizawa area after the officer reported the smell of rotten eggs. The local police considered the possibility of a large-scale disaster involving highly lethal gas and reported it to the prefecture and prefectural police at 7:15 a.m. What the fuck? This chapter keeps, I'm like, okay, what could possibly happen next? And then it's like, Keiichi was at the festival and the bodies disappeared, what the fuck? Rika's turned up dead, what the fuck? There was a volcanic gas? 8 a.m. The governor was traveling to nearby prefectures for inspection, so in accordance with the regulations, the prefectural environmental disaster prevention chief was provisionally escalated to director general and set up a disaster countermeasures office. However, without contacting the governor, the countermeasures came too late. As has recently been pointed out by citizens groups, his trip with honorary diet members to inspect other prefectures was based solely on good relations, and it's rumored they preoccupied themselves with a drinking party. Sources closer to him claimed the governor had been drinking all night and had gone to sleep in a drunken state. He was completely drunk when the environmental chief phoned him as well, and apparently he could not get him to pay any attention to the matter. And so the authorities, in the hour or so it took for the governor to grasp the situation and sober up, did nothing but accumulate information. Though not as extreme as the governor's case, the environmental chief who became director general in the governor's absence will likely also be questioned about his negligence. In addition, without any procedures in place on the prefecture's side that predicted catastrophes this massive, they would always react too late, and that ended up being fatal. 9:12 a.m. On the advice of the prefectural police, the governor requested a disaster relief mission from the SDF. By the time the chemical defense unit, equipped with protective equipment, arrived on the scene, 8 hours had already passed since the incident's outbreak. Whatever the case may be, it was unfortunate this happened while everyone was sleeping in the middle of the night. Had the same disaster occurred during the day, it likely would have been entirely different. All households in the Hinamizawa village region were wiped out. There were over 1,000 victims. The SDF is still confirming the situation on the ground, but the results are predicted to only increase that number. Here with us in the studio today is Dr. Fujiwara, a professor at University who is well acquainted with volcanic disasters. Doctor, can such a sudden and horrible outburst of poisonous gas actually happen? It isn't at all unusual for this to happen right around craters, at least. Japan is a volcanic nation, and so has many active volcanoes. There is always a danger of hazardous gas around any of these craters, and it's generally a rule among mountain climbers not to go near them. Does this mean the rotten egg smell that visited Hinamizawa village was the normal sort of gas from volcanic craters? Judging by how it smelled like rotten eggs, we think it was hydrogen sulfide, a gas seen particularly frequently in accidents compared to other volcanic gases. If it's dense, it becomes extremely dangerous. Hinamizawa village is very far away from the craters of any volcanoes. Mue University, so you know this guy has his credentials, yeah. You know it, pal. It's very far away from the craters of any volcanoes. Can hydrogen sulfide be generated even from a place not close to a crater? I don't know all the details, so I can't say anything concrete, but in other countries there are records of gas eruption due to magma buildup under hot springs. It's an extremely rare event, but it is possible for such a thing to happen even in a region not near craters. Thank you very much, Doctor. Sorry, water's gone down the wrong hole. Just a little bit. Thank you very much, Doctor. We appear to have an announcement from the Japan Defense Agency. Miss Morikawa, are you there? Yes, I'm at the Japan Defense Agency. Oh, I'll hydrate again. I gotta stay hydrated. The agency has just made an announcement regarding the source of the Hinamizawa village gas disaster. Analysis from the Ground Self-Defense Forces Department of Chemistry has found that the gas was a mixture of carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide. Miss Morikawa, do you know whether gas is still erupting or spreading to nearby areas? According to the SDF's 9th Division, who are currently engaged in a rescue operation at Hinamizawa village, the gas density is steadily decreasing. They've announced that the damage will not spread. However, it does not change the fact that surrounding areas are still in danger and that very strict observation must be maintained. That was Morikawa from the Japan Defense Agency, and now we have a report on the state of those who have been made to evacuate the Okinomiya area. Shimoshinozaki. Shimoshinozaki Elementary School is one of the evacuation sites, and we currently have a reporter on scene. Oh no! Bees broke in! They're taking over! Wait, what? Inside the jeep, clambering and bouncing along the rough road, none answered my muttered question. An unprecedented catastrophe had destroyed Hinamizawa in a single night? B. Where was Hinamizawa village anyway? Someplace deep in the mountains, right? Names of places I'd heard about on the radio were always like that. They were all places I'd never heard of, much less knew the locations of. Wiped out? And then the killer bees attack, more plot twist. Yeah, when Keiichi was digging the hole and he was getting stung by mosquitoes, those weren't actually mosquitoes, they were killer bees, and they made this happen. The gas was actually a bunch of really small killer bees, and it seemed like it was gas, but it was actually bees. And they all stink. Wiped out? What does that mean? Don't they usually say how many died and how many were injured? How many people were alive? Where did everyone evacuate to? Eventually became into view of Coach's clinic. For the first time I saw the flag of Japan hanging on a pole outside. Look, getting crazy. Japan's circular sun hung down as though exhausted. Many SDF tents were set up in the clinic's parking lot, and many strict security vehicles were parked there as well. When they saw the jeep coming, men in white clothing and gas masks came running out of the clinic, frantic, carrying a stretcher. You're going to be alright. How do you feel? Can you walk? Yes. Ow, ow. And because of my owls, they forced me to lay in the stretcher anyway. People who seemed like doctors were looking at me and notifying others of my condition via radio. Multiple wounds. High possibility of fractures and internal damage. Large laceration on the head. Pupils normal, but even without bleeding from the fundus. What's the fundus? What's the fundus? The part of a hollow organ that is across from or farthest away from the organ's opening. Depending on the organ, the fundus may be at the top or bottom of the organ. The fundus is the inside back surface of the eye. Okay, I think that's probably what they're referring to. Fundus? Is that what... Was Rika bleeding from the fundus? It's the fundus is not where you want to bleed from, just like the weenus, yeah. You do not want a bleeding weenus or fundus. Not very fun. Okay, the fundus of the eye is the interior surface of the eye, opposite the lens. Okay. Because Rika was bleeding from the eye, so I wonder if she had bleeding... What's the plural of fundus? I hope it's fundi. It is fundi! What the fuck is happening? Even without bleeding from the fundus, brain damage is still possible. And then, from the clinic entrance, people lying on stretchers were brought outside to replace me. Judging by their clothing, they were from Hinamizawa, and that's how I knew they were victims. They brought the stretchers in front of a truck. 2 troops, holding shoulders and legs, and like some kind of baggage, picked them up and threw them into the trunk. In the trunk of the truck, people's bodies, piled in heaps. They were just like baggage, and that told me they were already nothing but shells. At that moment, I remembered all those colourful sacks filling the trunks, and them lined up in the schoolyard like a fish market. Hundreds of empty shells. Corpses. 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 Corpses! You jackasses. Don't just throw the victims in like that. They lived here. The troops carrying the sacks answered with a humble salute. The world didn't need this insane version of Hinamizawa. My final wish, again, it was granted. I didn't understand anything anymore. None of it mattered. I wished, I cursed, and then it happened the next day. Then please, tomorrow morning, let me die. That insane night, it's still going on. Please, please end it already. Huh? Hey, he's lost consciousness. Shout his name. Quickly. Mayabara-kun, can you hear me? If you can hear me, just blink. Mayabara-kun! 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 Suddenly the world didn't matter to me anymore. I wasn't interested in their cries. His breathing stopped. Get his respiratory tract open. Use CPR. Make him live. Damn it, no more dead people. Nobody deserves to die. Don't kill him. Don't kill him. I could hear the voice of a man crying and screaming in my ears. Nobody deserves to die. Those words came from his heart. They were so commonplace, and they soaked into my heart too. Maybe it was a mistake to take someone's life, even if it was to save Satoko. And that's why you never kill people. If this is the price I had to pay, this horrible tragedy, then this is a little much, Oyashiro-sama. Why? Why did you never punish me? Come to think of it, Satoko said something. Oyashiro-sama's actual curse never goes for the target at first, but kills everyone they love before that. Oyashiro-sama's curse. It was a convenient excuse. I told myself at the very end that it wasn't my curse that destroyed it, but Oyashiro-sama's. Given that I was in a stretcher, this next bit might have been obvious. But last of all, I realized one thing. Yeah. Today, I had not heard those footsteps following me, even once. And now, I was liberated. As the cries of the Higurashi I couldn't have been hearing filled my mind, their tearful ensemble was the only funeral march I had. Okay, we're gonna take a 5-minute break because we're a bit over half an hour in, and I want to finish this. I don't know how much longer we have exactly, but I don't want to fuck up my voice. Alright. I will return. I'm gonna do 2-minute ad break. Okay, I will return shortly. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck? What the hell? Dude, what the fuck? What the fundus? What the fundus, man? What is... I'm just... What is happening in this game? Okay, alright. June 22, 1983, early morning. A widespread disaster occurred in Hinamiza. Oh my goodness. Wait, which button is it? This one? First try, baby. First try. Let's go. A widespread disaster occurred in Hinamizawa village, Shishibone, Prefecture. Volcanic gas, carbon dioxide, and hydrogen sulfide erupted from Onigafuchi Swamp, one of the Hinamizawa area's water sources, and spread through the entire village. The swamp is one of the water sources? And also that it's from the swamp in the first place. Is this because he drove a motorbike in there and, like, I don't know, maybe there was some, like, reaction from that? Dude. Spread through the entire village. There were 1,200 victims. 20 have gone missing. The catastrophe was unprecedented, forcing local governments to evacuate approximately 600,000 people. According to later investigations, magma pools and hot springs were uncovered directly under Onigafuchi Swamp, and the gas that gushed from it was determined to be the cause of the disaster. In addition, directly after the incident broke out, many came forth claiming this disaster was a curse based in Hinamizawa village legends, first sparking a wave of chaos. There were apparently local legends of a curse spreading a miasma, destroying the village, and some scholars believe a similar gas disaster may have happened in the past and remained part of these legends. Alright. When the text gets small, I'm like, alright, buckle in. More extreme periodicals suggested this was an extension of the string of freak death incidents that had been happening in recent years in Hinamizawa village, stirring interest in theories about this curse of Oyashiro-sama. In addition, relatives of those in Hinamizawa village who had escaped the disaster complained of sickness afterwards and were hospitalized. Some of them even died of unknown causes, further encouraging such extreme opinions. On top of that, several relatives, professing to be possessed by Oyashiro-sama's curse, committed suicide in strange ways. And the impact the disaster has had on the entire nation can no longer be ignored. I'm thinking, because we know, like, Coach, that was, like, made to, it's like, yeah, that's like he committed suicide, and Tomitake's clawing out his throat, that was like, he did that to himself. Yeah, interesting. And the impact the disaster has had on the entire nation can no longer be ignored. Wild visions of terrible toxic gas sneaking around in the middle of the night, killing people, spilled across the country, causing a steady stream of people complaining of insomnia, difficulty breathing, headache, dizziness, etc. Some who identified themselves as being obsessed by it began doing odd things. Most of these were mistakenly attributed by the tabloid press, but afterwards, some even began to call the mental issues arising from the Hinamizawa tragedy the Hinamizawa syndrome. The Hinamizawa village region, the object of all kinds of rumors and speculation, is currently closed off, and even flying overhead is prohibited. The prohibition was, at one point, undone as a result of a decrease in the gas's density, but that autumn another gas burst was confirmed, leading to the area being cordoned off again. Word is that the area is sound asleep, all traces of its former life intact and left to rot. And so we're never gonna find out where the fucking body is of Teppei. Only one survivor remains, Keiichi Maebara, age 13, who lived at Hinamizawa village. At the time of rescue, he had some trouble breathing due to fluid buildup in his lungs, but as a result of life-saving procedures, he was kept alive. He is currently in a general hospital somewhere in the prefecture. Tiger9s, what's up? Wow, Z, that's me! Good to see ya. We are... I'm flabbergasted. There's an eruption of volcanic gas, question mark? The Persona Gacha game today? Ooh, how was it? I watched a video, like a bit of a review about that a couple days ago, I think. It was all in Chinese, yeah. Was it cool? I was, around the time that it was like announced, I was following it a little closely for a brief period of time. It's okay. If it comes out in English, I will probably give it a go. But yeah, Who can say? He's currently in a general hospital somewhere in the prefecture. The press have been asking for him for some time, but all interviews are being refused. What did he see in Hinamizawa? What happened between June 21st and June 22nd in Hinamizawa village? Today he remains silent, unwilling to speak of it. Oh my god, Judo Topitake real name alone. 1993. Mio Takano strangled to death in mountains, body burnt to a crisp. Kurado Oishi missing investigation. Katsuya Kubatami? Dani Kyosuke Irie? Rika Furude? What the fuck? Reina Ryugu, Mion Sonozaki, Oryo Sonozaki, Satoko Hojo, Teppei Hojo, Ichiro Maebara, Aiko Maebara, Daiki Tomita, Suguro Okamura, Rumiko Chie, Kichiro Kimiyoshi, Yukikazu Kameda, Tatsuyoshi, what the fuck, Kasai, Shion Sonozaki, suicide, Keiichi Maebara, suicide, severe mental disorder, mental disorder, dude, what? Higurashi when they cry. Hello, I'm Mr. Ryukishi. I'm Ryukishi 07. Oh my god. What is up with this? I'm gonna have to read through all of these. Why is it written like that? It has this one playable character who's in a wheelchair, which I don't think I've seen I've ever seen in a game. Seen before in a game. That's really cool. Oh, we have to know how many of them had Waz tattoos, or we'll never know the truth. Yeah, oh my god. That's really cool that there's a character in a wheelchair. I think it's awesome when games do stuff like that. June 9th, 2003? Fucking, what the fuck? An elderly couple living in Osaka Prefecture. June 9th. Discovered a cassette tape while organizing the possessions of their son, who passed away 8 years ago. Wait, what's 8? $1995. Osaka, oh my god! What else does she say? What else does Osaka-san say? I don't know. The autism creature. Passed away 8 years ago. Their son went missing when his fishing boat capsized in 1995. He was 47 at the time of his death. Tata andagi! What the fuck? 8 years later, in 2003, they had begun to organize their son's remains in order to organize their minds, and came across the cassette tape in question. Okay, wait. 47. So, 1983. Okay, wait. Okay, so 12 years, so 35. The Pride of 83. Oh my god. FNAF at Freddy reference. 35. The events of the game. 8 years later, okay, they began to organize their son's remains in order to organize their minds, and came across the cassette tape in question. Hello, everyone. I wish I were a bird. From 1975 to 1989. Hi, how are you? Fine, thank you. The deceased had experienced working as a journalist for a photography periodical, and this tape is thought to have been created during that time. This sounds like... Okay, what is a periodical? The Bite of 87? Oh my goodness. A magazine or newspaper published at regular intervals. Okay. That makes me think of Tomitake, but he was dead, right? I think. I'll check after this. This tape is thought to have been created during that time. The label on the tape read 11/28/1983 Keiichi Maebara. It is thought the tape was recorded during an interview with Keiichi Maebara, the only survivor of the Great Hinamizawa disaster that occurred in June of 1983. As the only person who lived through the disaster on the night of June 21st, shrouded in mystery, many interested parties attempted to question him, but he never once spoke physically to anyone in a public place. Therefore, the tape caused quite a stir, possibly being of extremely high value. Click. Really hard to talk about stuff when I know I'm being recorded. Please don't worry about it. Here, it won't be a problem if I do this, right? After this, the sound quality dramatically decreases. Did he cover the recording device with something? Then let's get started. Here's my first question. Keiichi-kun, where were you the night of the great disaster? I had gone behind the shrine, then took a path through the woods for a while. There's a rope bridge there. A little while before you get into the mountains. I fell from there and lost consciousness. Did this happen during the night of the disaster, between the 21st and the 22nd? No. It was the morning of the 21st on Tuesday, which means I woke up the afternoon of the next day. I think I was out for a day and a half. Why on earth were you there? I mean, I'm sure everyone wants to know, but the bridge you fell from that day, a weekday I might add, was quite far from both your house and the school, wasn't it? It's a long story. Speaking frankly, there are some who say you knew of the great disaster beforehand, and fell from the rope bridge as you were trying to flee the village. This isn't a joke. Please don't be so arbitrary about this. I think it's a terrible thing to say too. Please don't be offended. Anyway, about the rope bridge you fell from, it was right here on the map, right? The rope bridge beyond the back of the shrine and through the path in the woods. Probably. I never went over there, so I can't say for sure. I guess I just want to know why you were out somewhere you'd never been before on a weekday morning. And then, well, about the riverbed you fell unconscious on. Have you heard the rumors about that being impossible? Impossible. That word. Again? Again. Again. For a little while, Keiichi Maebara mutters the word impossible several times. Why would it be impossible? You know how the volcanic gas originated in the Onigafuchi swamp? Some scholars did some pretty delicate simulations and modeling and discovered something very interesting. The volcanic gas was heavier than the air, so it went along the ground, flowing into lower and lower places, kind of like what water does. And with Onigafuchi swamp as its source, they were able to test how much time it would take for the gas to erupt and spread across the whole village. You did uninstall the Persona 5 gacha there? Yeah. Okay. Are we gonna find out where, like, water flows to and from? Too much delay since connecting to Chinese servers? Oh, yeah. So, well, that riverbed you were unconscious on, the gas, it would have flowed down there. I don't really understand what you're getting at. It's playable, but it's noticeable enough where it annoys me. Yeah, I'm used to playing games on high ping, because, I've played, like, Genshin, I played that on the America server, Honkai Star Rail, America server, Infinity Nikki, America server, so I'm kind of used to it at this point. Don't really understand what you're getting at. In other words, if you were really passed out on that riverbed, you would have been in the middle of all the toxic gas that was spreading everywhere that night. That means there was no chance you could have been passed out there. I am an Australian individual. My logic for it, like, originally was, well, most people would probably be on the American server. Like, if I want to play with, like, online friends, they'll probably be on the American server. Which is, yeah, it was a choice. There's no chance you could have been passed out there. Allow me to be a little more frank. Games with the global server, yeah. I think that maybe you might be telling a lie. During the Great Disaster, you were hiding in a safe place, keeping an eye out for when the gas got thinner, then reappeared and were secured by the SDF. How about that? Is that right on the mark? For a short time, the journalist presses Keiichi Maebara further, in a teasing way, but all that can be heard are heavy sighs. Even if that was the case, I wouldn't be surprised at this point. What do you mean, you wouldn't be surprised? Was this recording really taken of Keiichi Maebara? Some harbor suspicions. You said it before, didn't you? That it was impossible. Impossible things happen in that Hinamizawa all the time. There are people who shouldn't be existing. Dead people end up alive. It's not really that unusual. Never thought I, of all people, would be asked to prove that I was still alive when I was supposed to have died. Sorry, el fake live, yeah! I don't know anything about, Fate, but yeah. The journalist and Keiichi Maebara both laughed for a while. To verify its authenticity, I had the others in the Maebara family check the tapes with his voice in it. However, the sound was not clear, and much time had passed, so the relatives I checked with couldn't remember what he sounded like. I was unable to gain positive proof it was actually his voice. Alright, then I'll change the subject. What do you think about the debate? What do you think of the debate about whether this disaster was the curse, the 5th year of serial freak death incidents in Hinamizawa? I don't think it was. I was the curse that year after all. What do you mean? I was just answering the question. Doubts also remain regarding the date 11/28 written on the tape. Curse, well, you probably won't believe me when I tell you this. I was the one who caused it. I was the one who wished for the whole village to die, and it happened. Ha 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 ha. What an exciting story. Exciting? I suppose you could call it that. After Maebara Keiichi's failed suicide attempt on a certain August day 2 months after the disaster, he was diagnosed with a mental disorder and transported to a treatment facility. I was the one who killed Takono-san and Coach and Oishi too. At the time, I had some kind of divine power. Yes. I suppose it was like footsteps. Footsteps? Wait. What's that supposed to mean? Have you never heard footsteps before? Tip tap, click click, coo coo coo. The facility never allowed any news coverage, so it's extremely unlikely that a tape from the media dated after August 1983 would have his voice on it. There was... Does this text have an HD 4K remaster version? I mean, kind of. OMG, it's HSR black screen, true. What was I thinking? Oh yeah, in episode 2 when there's... we broke into the ritual storehouse and Shion was talking about hearing a sound like someone jumping up and down. I think Tomitake also heard it. I wonder if that's something similar to the footsteps. The footsteps could also just be Keiichi losing his absolute mind. Today, when you're walking around, try stopping suddenly. Something interesting will happen. I love HSR. Casters does 5 billion damage and she's a Fuja just like me for real. Last night I was on Tumblr and I was scrolling through the Fine on Mighty ship tag, as one does, and I was seeing all this stuff about Casters and then I was like, oh my god, she is a Fujoshi! That made me like her so much more. She's just like me for real. Anyway, if you hear an extra footstep, even though you've already stopped walking, you'd better be careful, you know? Yes, I'll be careful. Haha, haha. Is what I'm saying really that funny to you? Oh my god, Finals drip marketing? I'm so normal. I'm so normal. I'm so normal. I had to like physically hold myself back from saying anything because I'm normal. I'm normal. However, the reporter had been criticized for his forceful methods of collecting data while he was active, so there is still a possibility that he broke into the facility and forced Keiichi Maebara to talk. You've been doing nothing but laugh in my face this whole time. No, you're so right, Echo. You're so right. Why is he like that? You're just like Coach. Yeah, oh my god. We're Fujoing out right now. You're just like Coach. You pretend to sympathize with me, listen to what I have to say, but your eyes are telling me you think I'm a lunatic. That's not true. No, I can tell. Your eyes are the same as Coach's. Is this truly Keiichi Maebata's voice? The authenticity of this recording is still wrapped in mystery. Final Fate Club, same patch, it's so over. Thankfully, I know nothing about fate, so I'm not affected. I never heard the footsteps again after that day, so I don't think I have that terrible power anymore. Perhaps, right here, right now, I'll wish for you to die. I will wish for your death. For saying all these unpleasant things. Yeah, one of them's free, I'm looking forward to that, that'll be exciting. Yes, this time, why don't I decide how you die? Takano-san was burned to death, so let's go with the opposite, with water. I hope you drown and die, how's that? The first quantum male in the game, yeah! 15 years after this tape was created, the reporter, just as Keiichi Maebata had predicted, died in an accident out on the sea. If I'm in top form like I was then, you'd die before tomorrow morning for sure. It took like 2 years. Now then, I wonder how many days it'll take for you to drown. Oh, he's crazy. You better be careful, you know? Don't go getting yourself killed by some stupid curse I put on you, okay? Ha 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 ha. The recording ends in the middle of Keiichi Maebata's laughter. And Keiichi Maebata? Late on the night of 11/30/1983, 2 days after the interview, he suddenly died from a high fever, cause unknown. Oh shit, the stream, yeah. Records remain of the strange words he kept giving after pressing the call button the day before he died. An extra set of footsteps. Haha. Boom, fine boom. Dude, what the fuck? Yay! All cast review session! What the fuck? Man, the difficulty of this one really was, like, impossible. That's insane. This is insane. Alright, all cast review session, let's go. Echo, Not the conversation I expected to be having today, but yes. Yes, I do. but I'm happy either way. But I'm inclined. How do I follow twice? Oh man. I think I remember seeing a third-person shooter Higurashi game where they use water guns? What? The very real person in the background. Yeah, that's the best part about these, the original backgrounds. Alright, here we go. All cast review session.
Thank you very much for enjoying Higurashi When They Cried Chapter 3, Tatori Goroshi. How'd you like it? It had a different sort of atmosphere than the previous chapters. I would be happy if you enjoyed it.
Wow, my Rena voice is not... Imagine being that person, yeah. My Rena voice is not Renaing today. A bad end again. The type which we're so fond of, huh? Personally, I wanted to get a scene of the gas coming in, the villagers spasming, and and foaming at the mouth one by one before dying. Do you all think so too? Of course I do not think so. Again, it happened again. A huge bad end. Coo.
Mi-chan, you sure seem happy about the bad end.
Well, it's more like all we can honestly do. Oh my god, I'm words. It's more like all we can honestly do at this point is laugh. Fuck off, Oishi. You're not invited to the all-cast review session. Get this guy out of here. The terrible endings have been escalating through each chapter, and it finally reached a culmination, I suppose.
Everyone died together as friends. As friends. Nipa.
I mean, not you, Rika. You, got your organs, like, pulled out of your stomach and were left in the, like, shrine donation box. Higurashi Day Rick. Oh my god. Is it like a fan game or like an official? Sorry everyone, I got hungry, yeah. And there's so much Higurashi stuff. Shadox, have you played Higurashi? And if you have, do you have any advice on if I should play the console exclusive arcs? Dodging game? I see, yeah. Because I'm leaning towards I won't play the console arcs, because then it might just go on for way too long, and I'll probably play them off stream once I've finished Higurashi. And so right, what a cannon. You've not? Oh, I see. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with not playing the console exclusive arcs. Because, one, I think that's gonna like at least like double the length of this playthrough, and also, two, I feel like things get crazy with the story though. Yeah, I think that the console arcs, I worry that they could also give me too much information, because like, I don't know, I think I should just be like, yes, okay, I'm gonna experience the story the original way. Does this series have any yaoi, by the way? I don't know. Umineko does have a character who it's like confirmed in a spin-off game that she's a fujoshi. That's pretty awesome. Anyways. Oh my god, Tomitake. I guess you could say that. I die every time though, and I'm a little tired of it. Maybe they put me in the game. It'd be nice to have an ending where I didn't die once in a while. Jury's still out on the Yuri in this game though. It's always a possibility. Tomitake-san, you're kind of like a time signal. When you die, it's like, oh, we're in the second half now. Kind of. Wahahahaha.
Okay, now here are our guests that debuted in this chapter. Everyone give a big round of applause. First is Coach Irie Kyosuke-san.
Dragon Grace does the big damage. Yeah, so true. I'm honored to have your introduction. Hello there. I was a minor character, but having a full portrait like this makes me feel really important. It's true. You had too many appearances, too much dialogue, and too strong a role for a minor character. Yeah, this gets meta, the all-cast review session. I don't know how much I'll get to appear from here on, so please root for me.
Thank you very much. Next up is our teacher, Chie-sensei.
Hello there, everyone. I've appeared in various scenes, and this time I was given that memorable scene, the curry showdown. I just can't forgive those who would slight curry.
Yes, I wonder. Oh, someone give Chie-sensei a seat, please.
And I saw this Goku. True. Okay, now everybody's here. Rena, you can do the honors again.
Okay, everyone, please pick up the cup nearest to you on your table. There are plenty of different drinks.
These after parties have gotten really lively. How many do we have here now? Including us, I think there were about 10 people. Now we finally have the same number of minors and adults. We can all drink without being ashamed. Speaking of beer, how is it that something so delicious when cold turns so bad when warm? One of the 7 wonders of the world, I say. Hehehe, I wonder why. Okay, I'll pour some beer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Huh? There were 6 adults here?
Meep. I would like the Fermi barley tea as well. Rika-chan, you can't drink.
Anyway, Rena-san, let's get this moving. Well, okay. Can I have everyone's attention, please?
Alright, everyone. Excellent work on the Tatarigoroshi chapter. Cheers!
Cheers! Yay! Clap, 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 clap. Okay then, let's get down to our traditional plot discussion.
Still there. This chapter just confused us yet again.
3 hours until sleep token, yay! Wahoo! What's up, Liz Wiki?
Well, if anyone has an opinion, please raise your hand.
Wow, everyone's being so discreet. Like a star rail 3 times relic about in 20 minutes, wow. No hands? Go to get 3 times garbage, hell yeah. Then why don't I break the ice? Oh, excuse me, could you change the music please? To something a little more mysterious. Yeah, that's good.
The mood has been set. Alright, Takuno-san, take it away.
I think that just by poring over the Tatarigoroshi story, the mystery won't be revealed. I know what you mean. Obviously, that's how the stories have been set up.
Was there something like that in particular?
I don't know if I'm right, but in Onikakushi, when Maebara-kun was eating in the restaurant with Oishi-san, Sonozaki-san found out, and it was a little mysterious, right? And it was suddenly mysterious just in Onikakushi, but after reading Watanagashi, a few things made a lot of sense. When I mentioned a restaurant with cute uniforms during the story, it must have meant Angel Mort. And Angel Mort is owned by the Sonozaki family, so... Someone who knew Kei-chan was there too and told me. And it actually makes a good amount of sense, right? Why does she look like that girl from the 1VN? The white dress one? The teacher? Chie? With the blue hair? And that's what we mean. There are subtle differences in the Higurashi stories, but I think there are 3 facets that are the same for each. The character settings, for example.
I was scary in Onikakushi, but that wasn't only because it was Onikakushi. It was because my character was the exact same in all 3 stories, is that it?
I agree with the characters being exactly the same. The most extreme case being me dying in the same way in the same place every time. That's just his defining character trait. Tears out his own throat in the same place at the same time. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so the weather seems to change between episodes. Oh, that one really messed up the end? I see.
No matter which story it is, you always die on the same day.
There's a scene where during Watanagashi, Takuno-san and Tomitake-san sneak into the ritual implement storehouse. The same scene may have still happened in the other stories, even though it wasn't portrayed. Types of VN that have a reputation? Yeah, I think I know the one you're talking about. I haven't played it myself, but...
I think it still happened, save for a few events, the weather the day of the festival, what we did in the club, and Satoko's uncle coming home. It's almost all the same.
Yeah, the weather. Just sitting there, yeah. Menacingly. Which means we have a bunch more questions. If the stories are told in exactly the same environment each time, why do they end up being so different? Yeah. If we think from the perspective of a general adventure game in the suspense genre, sometimes the story branches depending on choices, right? So in Watanagashi, the point where you do or don't give the doll to my sister? That was not at all her voice. Game icons on my desktop judge me when I don't click on them. They judge me when I do click on them. An unavoidable bad end for a choice so early on. That's pretty scary. But this one was different, like, from the start, when Teppei's partner was found dead. Expedition 33 is like, yay! I need to play that game. I've been meaning to get it. I probably won't stream it, but... Well, in Tatari Goroshi, maybe whether you decide to kill the uncle or not. I mean, I guess, but the uncle showed up in the first place, and that's something that's very different. I think it was way before that, yeah. I think it branched back when the uncle's cohabitant disappeared because of some trouble and he returned to Hinamizawa. I agree, Takano. I agree.
Then what was the first branch in Onikakushi?
Let me think. Asking about, the dam site murder? Talking to Oishi? I think it was when I appeared and started talking about the serial freak death incidents related to Oyashiro-sama's curse.
You know, I just thought of something. If Keiichi-san gave the doll to Mion-san, and if Oishi-san and my uncle hadn't appeared, would we not have spent our time in peace, without anything happening?
I see. Satoko's gotten right to the point. You're right. You can say that again. And then maybe we should pray Oishi-san and her uncle don't show up in this dark story. And then if we can prevent Sonozaki-san from getting in a bad mood, everyone will be happy. Yay, big sis, you're needed for the bad ending! Be careful, everyone. If you make my sister mad, you're sure to get a bad end. Imagine being 30 devs who left Ubisoft to form a studio and your first game sells 2 million copies in 12 days. Damn, that's so impressive. Good for them. Yeah, my dad and I are both interested in playing Expedition 33, so probably gonna get it on PlayStation. It looks pretty good. I like the Persona influences. It makes me happy. What are you saying? Shion! Next time I'll make sure to be merciless in the pain I put you through. You can cry and apologize as much as you like, it won't work. Just you wait!
We can't solve any of the mysteries thus far, but we seem to have put together a plan for how to get the story to end happily.
I wonder if that would really make us happy. Oishi-san and Teppei Hojo-san don't show up. Mion-san gets the doll. Is that all we have to make sure of? Oh, I wonder, is Oishi not gonna show up in the next episode? Oh, that would be so amazing. 9.7 user score on Metacritic? Wow. You're right. We're all forgetting the most important thing. Remember the Great Hinamizawa disaster? The highest for game ever? Wow. Damn.
You cannot prevent natural disasters. Should we have everyone in the village put on gas masks and move away?
I think that maybe Keiichi throwing shit into the swamp disrupted things. It's good to hear that it is peak. I mean, everyone is saying it's really good, but yeah.
It's probably Oyashiro-sama's curse. Then we need to make sure not to make Oyashiro-sama angry.
We are Expedition 33 and expeditioned all over the place. Nah, this is getting a little tricky. We mustn't anger Oyashiro-sama, eh? And what should we do in order to prevent that? The dam project itself is probably out of the question. Maybe if there was never a dam project in the first place, I don't think we can affect things that far back. That would be like changing so much of the setting. That would be hard. If it didn't happen, we would need a ritual to quell Oyashiro-sama's anger. Sinking a sacrifice into the Onigafuchi swamp. A ritual sacrifice.
A sacrifice. Who do we sacrifice?
Come on, use your head. Someone who is destined to drop out from the story no matter what happens. If he's gonna die anyway, then we may as well have it help out Hinamizawa. When you say someone who drops out no matter what, you're talking about me, aren't you? I knew all along. I knew you had some very important role in this story, Jiro-san. We'll get you to play your part. And with that, we have a blueprint for getting a nice, happy, good ending, don't we? Let's give it a try since we have time. Everyone involved, come over here. Are they gonna, like, act it out now? First, we stop Uncle Hojo, whose lover ran out on him from returning to Hinamizawa. Hiya, my name's Uncle Hojo. He has no portrait, so I'm standing in. I'm so lonely and blue because my lover ran away. Time to go back to Hinamizawa, lock up Satoko-chan and, haha, raise her into a maidservant. Why don't I take my motorbike back? I'll just put in the key and click. Click! Kaboom!
Judgment! To ashes and dust shall you return! Satoko-chan, don't you think it was a little too much gunpowder? I hope Coach is alright. It's wet!
She set off a bomb. This game's insane. Next, we stop Oishi from showing up. Me this time? Foo. My name is Kuroda Oishi. A hot, good-looking middle-aged man who looks like a blues singer. Foo. Kaboom! Sleep now 3 AM? Oh yeah, it's always like some ungodly time for you, Echo Nines. Have a good sleep. Thanks for coming by. It was fun fujoing out with you.
Yeah, get some good rest. Bye-bye. Meep. Judgment for you.
And lest we forget, a follow-up service for my sister. Come here, big sis. There's a cute little doll for you. Aw, how nice. Something about this just doesn't sit right with me. And finally, we must quell Oyashiro-sama's anger. Then, will our last actor please come up? Time fast, wrap him up and hang him. He'll sink for 3 days, right? His voice. I'm not that patient. Let's just get it over with. And with that, the case has been closed. The end. We did it!
Oh no, all of a sudden this arm of mine is glowing with an awesome power. This pile of corpses is a pretty big deal. Huh? It's the phone. Hello? Oh, Keiichi-kun, thanks for all your work.
Yeah, looks like you're all having a roaring old time. And yet here I am, busy with reading the scenario for the next story. Whatever. I'm in a good mood today, so I'll let you off without any teasing. Is she on there? Can you put her on? What? You're going to announce it here? I wanted to keep it a secret for a while longer, but okay. A secret between Shion-san and Keiichi-san? What do you mean? Nobody told me about this. Nobody. Okay, Kei-chan, let's say it at the same time. 1, 2, 3. The main character of the next story will be Shion Sonozaki? What? For real? You're not joking, right? If this is a joke, this is mean. What? Yes, so that's that. The one topping the popularity charts since her first appearance. The late appearing younger sister of twins being popular has been the pattern of things ever since the days of TH. I have no idea what that means, and it doesn't matter. Yeah, you're right, Keiichi. Anyway, I've been fired from my main character post for once. If the rumors are right, I might even get a portrait finally. Yahoo! Well, portraits of Kei-chan would be a big waste of disk space. If it couldn't all fit on one disk, there's a pretty high chance he'd be the first one dropped. Are you okay with this, Shion-san? The main character always meets some terrible fate in the end. Cuckoo. Well, until now. But that doesn't necessarily mean it'll happen next time.
With Tatori Goroshi, but we're already at the third game in Higurashi When They Cry series. This first half presented a lot of strange and exciting mysteries, but starting next time, the mysteries will start to be solved in the second half, marking the start of the investigation arc, temporary name.
Wait. For real? Are they talking about the console arcs? Because I hope... Wait, what the fuck? I thought we'd get another one where like the focus would be on Rika. And that means it'll be a thrilling story where I become a detective and solve all these crazy unfair mysteries. You'd all better think up good signature phrases, like... You, sir, are the criminal. Well, it won't happen, never! You'll get too close to the three families' secrets, be imprisoned, and then get tormented. You're shoo-in to meet a violent, unnatural death. Sis, I should say the same to you. Are you mentally prepared for me to see through all your mysteries and secrets? Then have you apologize to me and commit suicide?
No chance of Oyashiro-sama's curse for me, is there? Anyway, the new story to begin the second half, temporarily called Meakashi, or eye-opening, is currently undergoing diligent development.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let me get the Higurashi console arcs flowchart. Huh? Okay. There's still chapter 4. Yumatsubushi. Mei Akashi is chapter 5. Maybe like Ryukishi was like, oh fuck. Okay, actually we need another part. Huh.
We should be able to unveil it to you all in the near future, so I hope you look forward to it. Onikakushi, Watanagashi, and Tatori Goroshi. What treats will you all come up with after reading these 3 stories? Or will you just come up with more questions instead of theories? Rena has no clue either.
For all of you warriors who never yielded to these 3 mysteries and kept on fighting, we present to you with one final scenario as thanks for your enthusiasm, one which we never originally planned on giving to you. Please enjoy it. The fuck? Chapter 4? What in the fuck? Okay, Okay. This is a pretty short stream. I think I want to have a look at chapter 4. I don't know if I have the 07th mod installed. I'm gonna take a quick break. Then I'm gonna come back and I just want to check it out because I'm very curious. Okay, I will think about it. I will return shortly. See you soon! Let me put up tea time. Boing! Oh, boing! Okay, 2-minute ad break. See you soon! I'm back. Hmm. Maybe I will look up Tatari Goroshi or cast review. Okay, so basically... Okay, so originally the 4th episode wasn't planned. It was originally an optional story but became canon later. Okay. Do I have the next one installed? Chapter 4, Himatsubushi. I do have it installed. Do I have the 07th one? I think I probably do. Okay, hold on. Let me... Are... Don't mind the white square. Now black square. Okay. I'm going to hide that? Okay. Okay, wait, hold on, this isn't thing. I'm fiddling. Okay. Hide game capture. Let me see. I should have it installed, right? Yes, I do. Chapter 4, Himatsubushi. I probably... Okay. Oh... Oh... What BGM? Oh... Oh... What do I pick? The 07th mod BGM SE. I don't know what I was doing in the other ones. Maybe I should do this off stream and we just start in the next one. Okay, I think that's probably what we're gonna do. Okay, this was a short one, but that's alright. Thank you for coming, everywhere. What an ending? Like, what the fuck? I was not expecting any of that. Yeah. So yeah, I will probably be streaming tomorrow. And that will probably be starting, oh, it will be starting chapter 4. I am look forward to it. I'm gonna take some notes later today on what happened. I'm gonna look at the like scrambled like things that were written in like the like roll credits scene. I'm gonna have to look over that. Yeah, thank you very much for coming along. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. See you tomorrow, everyone. Bye bye. Have a good day or night. Bye bye.